Hey everybody, welcome back to Brainiac Baseball's 1998 Arizona Diamondbacks Revisionist History. Today we wrap up the entirety of the 1998 season. This is our end of the season summary video. We're going to take a look at the standings, the final standings. We're going to look at the final league leaders. We're going to play the entirety of the playoffs. We're going to go day by day, knock that out. And then at the end, we will take a look at our free agents and our arbitration hearings, and we'll get the results for those players. That will only be for players that are on our team whose contracts are up. Okay? So first and foremost, we finished the season with an 81-81 record. Considering that we were an expansion team that in real life only won, I think it was 68 games, I think we've done pretty well for ourselves. That is not to say that this wasn't an incredibly frustrating exercise in which, this game, the Baseball Mogul 2022, really tested my limits of being able to control my mouth when things didn't go the way that a real baseball game would. Of course, this is a simulation. Maybe the end results and stats are going to be closer to what we should expect, even though we get there in really odd ways. And the whole reason for this specific sim was to see what would happen if we had deducted 20% of the potential home runs that actually occurred in 1998 because of the steroid era. What would happen if we actually took 20% off of the home run total? So we went into the tools and we went into this to the percentages, and I deducted 20% from the home run totals at the beginning of the season. And here are the results. Let's start here first, before we get into looking at our players. In 1998, there were 5,064 home runs hit. This was the season in which Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire hit big home runs, right? They both broke Babe Ruth's record, Roger Maris's record, I should say. There were several other players that hit really high marks in home runs. And we'll see how that stood up when we get to the league leaders. So in real life, 5,064 home runs were hit. 20% of that would have been 1,013 home runs less than what happened in real life. In our actual Baseball Mogul sim, 4,268 home runs were hit. So more than what should have been hit based on our 20% decline. So that is a difference of 796 home runs only compared to what should have been 1,013, which is a difference of 216 home runs more hit than they should have been. So in reality, there were a lot more home runs than it felt like there should be. When we look at our home run individual league leaders, which we will in a little bit here, I feel like the totals are really low. Like, we did not really have anyone that just took over like McGwire and Sosa did, and yet we really were only 796 home runs, around 800 home runs less than what actually happened in real life. So, I'm not going to say that's a failure in the programming of, because does the game actually know how many home runs were hit? In 1998, I don't know. But we're in the, basically a whole team and a half more of home runs were hit, as one way to look at it, I guess. So that was the whole purpose of this revisionist history, to revise the steroid era and to see what would happen. Now, what will we do for the 1999 season? I'm not sure yet. I will analyze the stats from the real life season and see what I feel like we should be at for 1999 in order to counter the steroid era home run surge. Okay? So there's that. We put that to rest first. Secondly, let's take a look at our team. Now that we have the September call-ups all back in their AAA and single A slots, I have the lineups back to normal. And this is the lineup that we'll probably go with going into next year. You can see everybody on our team had 10 or more home runs. We had a couple of players who had over 20 stolen bases. That's not to mention Devon White. And I think we had Bernard Gilkey in left that were stealing bases as well. Bobby Higginson fell 2 runs short of 100, and you can see the game pretty much took all of our RBI guys and bunched them together, unrealistically. Bobby Higginson struggled in the end, finished below 300 and below 400 in on-base percentage, although he was above those marks almost all year. Pudge did a great job. He was consistent from the day we got him offensively. And I feel like Todd Walker, who we can look at really quick, although he finished 0 for 11 in these final 4 games, still batted .342 with a 400 on-base percentage as our second baseman once we traded him from Minnesota to our team. So, I mean, that was really unexpected. Travis Lee is going to be a fine first baseman for us in the future. Matt Williams is under contract. He hit 33 home runs, more than he hit in 1997, one more anyway. And he batted .260 thanks to a late season surge in batting average. Dimitri Young is a defensive liability, but you know what? He played pretty well overall, and at the plate, I feel like he did what he needed to do. I feel like he's also got some home run power in there to get to 20 or more. Tony Batts, with a full season next year, if he stays healthy, will hit over 20 home runs, I would think. And Rob Ryan, who started the year as a fourth outfielder, once we started trading away our contracts that were too expensive or they were expiring anyway, we gave him the everyday center field job, and he did really well. Stole a lot of bases for us and showed some power, was kind of clutch, could take a walk. He did just fine. Jay Bell we're stuck with for a couple more years, and then we got the schlubs that didn't really give us much, but might play a bigger role next year. Looking at our AAA, you can see who got in on some games. We really did not, give a lot of September PT to those schlubs. You see everybody else down here in single A. I believe in 1999, the Diamondbacks do have a double A squad, so it'll be a little bit easier for us to move people through the minor league system and have them, I think, improve properly in this game. Okay, let's take a look at our pitchers. Here's our pitchers. I mean, we did what we needed to do with Andy Benez to trade him away to save us on payroll. That was the right thing to do, but he was our ace, and without him, we did actually struggle quite a bit. Mike Hampton pitched really poorly the last month of the year, like unusable levels. He finished 13-8 with an ERA over 4. That's combined with his time in Houston. Pete Shorrock we got from Houston in a separate trade before the season started. He did way better than I would have expected him to. So good job by him. Brian Anderson was injured 3 times, including right now. But when he was healthy, he was solid. Geraldo Guzman is kind of like the player that I really don't know what to expect. I have high expectations, really, I guess, based on his ratings, but he pitched kind of crappy, and I'd like to see that actually translate the ratings into real production next year. he will definitely be in our rotation. Jared Fernandez, I don't think will be in our rotation. I'm assuming we'll sign somebody from the free agent market, even if they're not as good as maybe what we have in the minor leagues. I'd like to have someone I can rely on, a veteran. So I don't think Jared Fernandez will be there, but his knuckleball wasn't all that good. We look at our bullpen. We did sign Troy Percival to an extra year. He was great on Anaheim, and he was terrible for us, but he did kind of put it together late. Felix Rodriguez was amazing. Chris Hammond had a terrible day today. In game 162. But overall was pretty good for us. Nelson Cruz was amazing. Omar Dahl could not get lefties out. Joel Peralta, I'm not sure what to expect from him. And that final bullpen spot will go to a lefty, but I hope it's not Adamson, Neil Weber, or Mark Redman. They all are pretty terrible. Beyond that, we don't have much. We do have Mike Koplov, who's injured down here at the bottom. And, of course, Brian Anderson finished the season injured. They'll be healthy in time for spring training, for what it's worth, okay? You look at all the other guys in AAA and what they did statistically, none of them really are players that I would want in our bullpen when the spring starts. But maybe there are some tradable commodities in there that could help us sure up some spots. So defensively, we were terrible in every position with the exception of first base with Travis Lee. Pudge was an abomination. Could not throw runners out. He had the lowest caught stealing percentage of his career. Everybody else was unreliable. I don't think Tony Batista was all that bad. Right there with Jay Bell, so they were in the same ballpark. Nobody else was good. And I don't know if that's a ballpark feature that's a problem, or if it's our actual players, because our defensive ratings are good, by and large. But for some reason, we could not really handle our business defensively. And we had, two outfielders have 10 or more errors? I looked it up. There were no outfielders in 1998 that had more than 9 errors. And we had 2 that had 10 or more. So I call bullshit on that. Okay, so there's our individual team synopsis. We'll take a look at the standings. So this will only take a second because we still have the playoffs to go. But a surprise in Boston, I think. I don't think I would have thought Boston was going to win in 1998. Cleveland and Kansas City, 2 teams out of the Central. That seems odd. Wow, Chicago lost 9 in a row at the end of the year. And then Anaheim, I just don't even know what to say about this. They won 6 in a row to take the division at the end after leading most of the year and then trading away a bunch of players. And then I guess they kind of rebuilt with some good players. I mean, they had like Tony Gwynn and Mark Grace and a bunch of guys they traded for. Who was the other big one? It was Gary Sheffield, right? Yeah, Gary Sheffield. I mean, they traded for some pretty big players, and in the end, it paid off. So there you go. The worst team in the American League was Tampa Bay, expansion team, right? So they had 63 wins only. I believe they'll get the number 2 pick as we look at the National League. Our worst team was Cincinnati by far. There we are, finishing 81 and 81. I mean, really, that's a win, but I don't know. The way we got there is what will disturb me late at night when I'm sleeping in my nightmares. Colorado, who we just finished up the season against, they finished at 291, and they batted 291 that year. That's amazing. Good job, baseball mogul. And overall, the ERA was at 4.17 for the National League. Nobody really seemed to be great with the pitching staff. Los Angeles had the best. That makes sense. San Francisco right there, too. I'm excited to see what happens in the playoffs. We're going to get to that here quick. And there's the wild card race. In fact, we actually fell right off the page here of the top teams available. We're right below Montreal, I guess. So there's that. Okay, let's take a look at the league leaders. This will be very quick, I hope. I hope I have it set up right. I do. Okay, great. All right. Well, there you go. There are the batting leaders. We're going to do all the batting stats combined with fielding, and then we'll do pitchers. And then we'll just look at the four main categories for the American League. Yeah, Nefi Perez. I mean, he finished 4 for 4 today, or not today, in game 162. Kind of amazing. Fernando Vini, number 2. Pudge batted .324. Bobby fell to 15th. There were 13 batters that batted .300 or better. And Demeet Hook had a little bit of a surge at the end there with a home run in game 162. And batted .293. You see a lot of big names in there, which is good. Nefi Perez, I don't think ever won a batting title, but I don't mind that a Colorado player won the batting title. I mean, that seems realistic. Now, if Nefi Perez had hit 30 home runs, I probably would have been pissed off. But we'll accept that. Okay. Who got the most at-bats? Jose Valentin for Milwaukee. There's Pudge. It's weird that Pudge is in there, but he doesn't walk very much, I guess. Doubles. John Olerud of the Mets had 44. Only 3 people had more than 40, including someone named Jason Williams, a rookie that had 41. There he is. Pudge had 33 combined. That's with Atlanta. Remember, he was on Atlanta for 7 games. A bunch of weird schlubs in there. Okay. Who grounded into the most double plays? Do we care? Todd Helton had 31. Nobody on our team does because we hit and run so much. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. Let's take a look at extra base hits total. Ryan Klesko had 79. He had the most total extra base hits. Pudge and Bobby tied. Matt Williams and Dimitri Young tied at 52. Some pretty good numbers there, I guess. I mean, when you think about, a home run hitter hitting 66, or I think is what Mark McGwire did. I can't remember now. My brain is fried from this whole season. But to have 79 total doesn't seem like a whole hell of a lot. Okay, let's take a look at the fielding percentages here. This is going to be worth a laugh. Brad Ausmus, okay, he was a good defensive catcher. Pudge has finished 5th. I guess it could be worse. He's not in great company there. Todd Hundley, yeah, he was one of the worst defensive catchers. So that makes sense. Okay, take a look at first base. Todd Helton did not make an error. In fact, you'll see here a lot of good defensive first basemen. Travis Lee made only 2 errors, and he did that in the final month of the year. And I took him out of the running for the Gold Glove. Second base, Junior Spivey, pretty good. But Todd Walker is going to be our everyday second baseman next year. It's possible that Junior Spivey will get some at-bats versus lefties, but Todd Walker has proven himself. Defensively, though, yikes. Okay, third base. Oh, Matt Williams, yeah. Man, that guy just was pretty rough at third, and we're stuck with him for a little while longer, too. Edgardo Alfonso for the Mets had the best fielding percentage. Take a look at the shortstop position. Hey, Jay Bell. Finished with a 976, but Nefi Perez. He was the best defender at shortstop, and he led the National League in batting average. That's kind of incredible combo. Take a look at left field. Oh, there's Dimitri way down at the bottom. David DeLucci, which would have been our other option, we traded him to Houston. Looks like he would have been worse. Billy McMillan, all-star. He was the All-Star MVP, if you remember correctly. He had the best fielding percentage in left. Here's center field. Rob Ryan. Again, we had good ratings for the most part in the outfield, but that doesn't really equate to much. Marquise Grissom from Milwaukee led the National League in center field. We'll take a look in right field. Bobby will not be there. Yeah, Bobby, well, equally with J.D. Drew, right at the bottom. That is unfair. Now, Bobby Higginson is listed as a left fielder, but his right field rating is a better defensive rating. So I felt like putting him in right field was the right thing to do, and it allowed us to get Dimitri Young, but I think maybe that is part of the reason why we really struggled in the outfield, is maybe he was out of position. We could move him to left field next year and trade away Dimitri Young. I'm not sure, but Jim Eisenreich led in fielding in right field. Okay, games played. Did anybody play all 162? No. Jason Williams got the closest. Funny to see Rob Ryan down there. He was the first pinch hitter off the bench in the early days before he got the everyday center field job. So that makes sense. Hits. Who had the most hits? Anybody give her 200? Yeah, of course. Nefi Perez had 203, thanks to those 4 hits on the final day. Pudge had 190, and Bobby Higginson 168. All right. Who got hit by the pitch the most? I'm curious. Oh, David DeLucci, Kevin Young. Nobody in our team. Home runs. This is what you want to see. Let's take a look. Dongs. Vladdy Daddy, 42 home runs, and it wasn't even close. Now, it looks like just by the top 25 batters hit 20 or more home runs. I would be curious if 25, based on our, differential of 796 home runs, 800 home runs, was there more this sim season to have 20 or more, but there wasn't as many at the top killing it, like we would have expected. But you got some good names in there. Weird to see 4 people tied with 33. Mark McGuire is there, so he did not go off. Ryan Klesko, that's probably his high end, is 33. And Jeff Jenkins, I know, hit 30 home runs 1 year at least. Matt Williams is capable of that. Reggie Sanders, a speed and hit power guy. Barry Bonds with 27 home runs. Come on. That's embarrassing. I mean, Bagwell didn't get to 30 either. Galarraga's in Atlanta. He's not to Colorado yet. Or has he already been to Colorado? I can't remember. Yeah, okay, he was already in Colorado. So I guess you could see a decline there. That's fine. Anybody else? Scott Rowland, 22. A bunch of schlubs at the bottom. Okay. Interesting. There you go. There's the home runs. Intentional walks? Does anybody care? Raul Mondesi was 16. Pudge and Matt Williams both had 6. Feel free to pause if you want to take a longer look at any of these categories. On base percentage, Barry Bonds, 444. That is accurate. I mean, Todd Helton also makes a lot of sense. John Olerud would take a walk. Bagwell, that makes sense. A Colorado hitter, okay. Steve Finley, underrated, and I think that's actually accurate. Maybe not Turner Ward. Bobby Abreu, yes. I believe he had close to a career 400 on base percentage. Bobby probably finished where he deserved to be. In real life, he's not a 400 on base percentage guy. And Pudge does not take a walk, despite batting, whatever he batted, 320. So that's why he doesn't have that much more of an on base percentage. But that's more realistic, I think. Outfield assists, this is dumb. Yeah, the worst guy defensively has the most outfield assists. Also, Barry Bonds, at one point, was a good defensive outfielder, but not in this era. You see the other schlubs. Dimitri Young had 10 because everybody's going to run on that guy's bad arm. But Bobby's got a rifle. He's got a 93 rated arm and you threw out 8. Okay, RBI. Here we go. We're almost done here with this stuff. Bobby, way down here, yeah, 89, 89, 88. That's stupid. Vladimir Guerrero, 126. Bags, Plesko, Jenkins. There were 8 guys with 100 or more RBI. Jeremy Burnett's just missed it. Hilton Roland did as well. In a season in which I believe there were a lot of runs scored, you would have thought, well, I mean, add 20% to all these totals, perhaps, and you're going to get more guys going over 100 RBI. I guess we could think of it that way. It doesn't really, the math doesn't math exactly, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, runners thrown out by the catcher. Geez, that's hard to believe that Pudge had 48. Why did everybody run on this clown? Disappointing. But he did throw out 48. I mean, they were just running on him like he was Paul LaDuca. And Paul LaDuca only had 30 runners thrown out. I think 25 were against us. That makes me mad. Whatever. Okay. And then runners thrown out percentage. Oh, wow. Everybody was down. And actually, Pudge finished with the second best in the National League. So it's all relative, I suppose. Yeah, that's his lowest career total. And yet, he was the second best. Okay, well, fine. Runs scored, Bobby fell short, of course. Matt Williams, 93. Barry Bonds and Ryan Klesko had 110. Bonds getting on base, that definitely led to leading the National League as a co-leader. Sacrifice hits. Greg Maddux had 13. Ryan Anderson had 9. Chicks dig the long ball, though, Maddux. Was there any actual hitter on the list? No, these were all pitchers. That's dumb. Okay. Sacrifice flies. Burnett and Jason Williams both had 10. Jay Bell, he had a sac fly in game 162. That was good enough to get him on the list. Rob Ryan as well. I just don't call for a sac fly very often in the gameplay mode when that comes around, I just don't feel like it's effective. And it's an automatic out sometimes. Slugging. Ryan Klesko, 577. It's good to see we had 4 guys on that list. Okay. Steals. Trinidad Hubbard finished with 73, 12 more than Kilvio Veras. Some schlubs on this list, but overall, I mean, kind of realistic. Bobby had 24, Rob Ryan had 21. Good job by those guys. Steal success. Bobby Higginson, yeah, he was 24 for 26. And Darrell Hamilton was 95%. Pretty good. Who struck out the most? Nobody in our team, although Matt Williams did make it over 100. Andy Tracy, 164. What we wouldn't give for hitters now to only strike out 160 times. Riley Green for my Tigers struck out 202 times. I think he was the only one to go over 200. Okay, we're almost done with the hitters here. Triples. Jay Bell with his triple in game 162 led the National League with 7. Travis Lee and Bobby. Walks. Who walked the most? Barry? Yeah, Barry. By a lot. McGuire. Bags. 75 for Bobby Higginson. Pretty good. I'll take that. I'm curious to see what Todd Walker would do as a full time leadoff hitter for us. And okay, so that's it for the hitters. Let's go to the pitchers really quick, and then we'll flip it over to the American League, and then we'll do the playoffs. Complete games. We're just going to go in order. Alex Fernandez for Florida had 5. Okay, nobody on our team, of course. Can't even remember. I guess Andy Benez probably had 2 complete games. Oh, does it show? Let's see here. Is Andy Benez on the list? Yeah, right there, Cincinnati. So he had 2 for us with a shutout, and he had 1 for the Reds. 6-5. Look at what he did for them on a 59-win team. Youch. Okay. All right. ERA. Who led in ERA? Ted Lilly, a rookie. He might be the Cy Young Award winner and the Rookie of the Year. Pete Short hung in there. Good job by him. Benez, 296 right there. Otherwise, a bunch of good names in there. A lot of rookies, of course, because the game doesn't know any better. Okay. Games pitched. I bet we're going to have a lot of guys on this list. Well, only 4. And then we did not lead either. That's amazing. Toby Borland, 77 for Florida. What does he look like? Career high. Is he a lefty? No, he's a righty. Okay. Robnen, Christensen. There's Dahl, Efrod, Nelly, Hambone. They all made the list. Interesting. Okay. I don't know if I've ever played a Baseball Mogul season in which I did not have the leader in appearances. That might be a first for me. Who induced the most double plays? Hampton had 20. Lovato had 29. Okay. Moving along. Who hit the most batters? Bunch. 13. And Kawada had 13. Nobody on our team. It just feels like we hit everybody. All right. Home runs allowed. Who gave up the most dongs? Kenshin Kawakami for Colorado. That makes sense. 39. Who else from Colorado? Anyone? Pedro Estacio. That's it. Interesting. Okay. Nobody in our team. Or did we trade somebody? No, but you know what it was? Brian Anderson. He would have made that list. I think he gave up 19 home runs, if I remember correctly. And if he hadn't been on the IL 3 times, he probably would have been there. Innings pitched. Okay, more than you would think, over 200. But this is that era still where... Are you going to pitch a rookie to lead the National League in innings pitched? Probably not a good idea. All right, but nobody in our team. Maddox, yeah. Okay, innings per game, 7.31 is the most. Nobody in our team. I don't really care about that. Oh, I missed the stat. I want to look at the batting on base plus slugging, OPS. So Klesko had the most, and Bobby was 6th. Great job by Bobby. Great job. I think he's our team MVP, but you guys can vote on that starting right now on our YouTube page. You go to the community page, and I'll have the 4 players that I think deserve the MVP votes, and you can vote for yourself. There are some good options on there. You may feel differently, and that's okay. Quality starts. My captain had 18. That's hard to believe. Andy Benez would have led with the rookie Ted Lilly. Okay. Quality start percentage. 90 for Sterling Hitchcock. What is that, 9 out of 10? Yeah, 9 out of 10. Great job. Good effort when he got in there. Okay, almost done. Saves. Trevor Hoffman had 45. That team was lights out, the Giants. They had Rob Nen. Then they traded from Hoffman, so that's going to be combined with the Padres. That was a lights out bullpen. That's why the Giants won that division over the Dodgers. Is right behind them. There's Billy Wags. I mean, there's some good names on here. Our best was 14 with Efrod, and then we turned it over to Percival. We just could not find that position. It will be Troy Percival's next year, come hell or high water. Greg Olson was our closer when we started the year, and he was just so terrible. ERA over 7. We traded his ass somewhere in the American League, I think. Shutties. Robinson Checo had 3. That was the most. Okay. Starts. Okay, nobody got to 35. Mike Hampton probably should not have given him 33 total. I have not yet decided whether we're going to sign him or not. He was so bad. I'm on the fence. We'll see what happens, how I feel when we get there. Okay, strikeouts pitched. Ted Lilly, 251. And that was 235 innings pitched? Yeah. Wow. 19-5. That's incredible. He's got to be the Cy Young, right? Back-to-back with Javier Vazquez, who was a rookie too. That team is going to be really good. Interesting. Okay. Nobody in our team. Our starters the last 2 weeks couldn't even strike out one batter. Any starter we put in there. The game just stopped letting them strike out people. It was like they got to their threshold and then they just stopped. Strikeout percent? No, that's for hitters. I don't really care about that stat. Damn it. All right, my bad. Strikeouts per 9. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so we had 2 pitchers that were over 1 per inning. And Shorrock had 7 per inning. He might be our ace next year, depending upon if we sign somebody. Okay, wins. This will wrap it up. Denny Nagel of Atlanta had 20 wins. Kind of amazing, but that's it. One pitcher had 20 wins. Just some weird names on there. And again, a lot of rookies. It'll be interesting to see what happens next year. There won't be as many rookies, I would imagine. I don't think there'll be a lot of roster changes. Okay, let's go back to batting. Then we'll go to the American League. And we'll look at the 4 main categories for bats. And then the 4 main categories for pitchers. Okay, here we go. Here's your American League leaders. Mike Sweeney batted .341. Wow. Cal Ripken. I mean, look at the names. Michael Young, he was a batting title guy. So was Edgar. It was Mags. I think Mags was a rookie in '98, right? Maybe not. Okay, come on. Tony Clark had 41 home runs for the Tigers, and Jose Canseco was second. There's Griffey, there's Juan Gone, Tino, Jermaine Dye, A-Rod. Oh, let's look at this list a little bit longer. Okay, so the minimum in the top 25 had 21. The National League had 20. There's Giambi, Crime Dog. Sammy Sosa had 29. Albert Bell. I mean, come on. Troy Gloss. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. So, oh, damn it. Okay, so there's home runs. RBI, Mike Sweeney had 142. Was he a rookie? No, but that was his first full year. That's why they won the division, right? Tony Clark, Juan Gonzalez. And then in stolen bases, Kenny Lofton with 88. Nice. There's a few speed names in there. Johnny Damon. Okay, let's look at the American League pitching main categories, and then we will move on to the playoffs. There's ERA, wins, strikeouts pitched, and saves. Okay. Only one pitcher in the American League below 3. That's weird. Randy Johnson, Pedro, Moose, Sabes, who I think might have been out of baseball in '98, but okay. Brad Radke, Clemens, Wakefield. Okay. Whoa, look at that. Okay, let's take a look here. Wow, 25th was nearly 5 ERA. Oh, man. Not a lot of qualifiers. Interesting. Okay. Let's go. Wins. Brett Saberhagen of Boston, 22. Where the hell did that come from? No, he really did have a 1998 card, right? With Boston. So what a career resurgence! In '97, he made 6 starts and didn't get any wins. And had 7 in '95. Didn't pitch at all in '96. That is comeback player of the year. And there's the rest of the top 10. Strikeouts pitched. Pedro, 257. Randy Johnson, 252. Finley, Rocket, Coney, Barry Zito as a rookie. And saves, it was Randy Myers, Jeff Montgomery, the Sandman. Okay, Matt Miller. Oh, Detroit Tiger Matt Miller. That's hilarious. Okay. All right. Oh, wait. Did I see something? I'm sorry. Give me one moment. Okay. No, never mind. Okay. I hope that wet your whistle for all the stats. We still have a lot to cover. Let's move on to the playoffs. Oh my gosh. How long is this video so far? Do we need to break it up into 2? Or do we just push on through? 42 minutes. Okay, I think we can do this. Because the playoffs won't take us very long. And then we only have a few players to do free agency. And then we'll be done. So let's get focused here. We have in the first round here, we have the Red Sox versus the Royals. That is the gem right there. Indians versus Angels. And then we have the Giants and Dodgers, 2 of the best pitching teams, versus Atlanta with all their power, and the Astros that probably don't even deserve to be there. In fact, if you look over at their runs scored and allowed, they gave up more runs than they scored. So that's not a good sign. Okay? All right, so how we do this is we go 1 day at a time. And then we check transactions. We see already all the league leaders here for the batting titles and all that stuff. There was one injury, Randy Wynn. No big deal. So we check because we'll see signings, we'll see potentially injuries, and they'll all pop, and retirements. They'll all pop up during the playoffs here. So we do that 1 day at a time. Let's go. Okay, back to the playoffs. Play 1 day. Boom. Of course, it's going to save. That's annoying. I'm going to take a little drink here because I'm getting parched. I apologize if that was loud. While this is going here... Okay, well, never mind. Simulating. I'm sure... Okay. So that was just a day off. All right, here we go. Everybody got a day of rest. Play 1 day. Boom. Oh, I should have checked transactions, shouldn't I? Okay, there we go. Royals take the lead. They won 5-4 in Kansas City. Angels beat the Indians 8-7 in Anaheim. Giants win 7-3, and that's in LA. And the Astros win at home against the Braves. They're at home because the Braves are the wild card team. No, the Dodgers are. Weird. Okay. They don't have the better record. Oh, but the Braves get the final 3 games. I understand. Okay, let's take a look at transactions. Anything? Paul Ferries of Detroit is going to retire at age 33. He did get one final game, went over 5. All right. Back to the playoffs. Play one day. Here's game 2. Thinking about it. Oh, okay. Great job, baseball mogul. Everybody's tied at 1. That's stupid. Red Sox win 7-6. Angels win 11. I'm sorry, the Indians win 11-6. Dodgers come back and win 3-2. And the Braves win 5-4. Transactions. Mike Magnate with Houston is going to miss 5 days. He would be back for the next round if they move on. A broken knuckle seems likely. Okay, now there'll be a day off as they all go on the road or home. All right, and we'll take a look at transactions. Okay, we've got 2 more retirements. George Canale of the Pirates, I thought it said, hasn't played since 91. Yep, so that makes sense. And also a Pittsburgh pitcher, Rich Sauver. He pitched in 16 games and sucked the pipe. Okay. Playoffs. Here we go. Who's going to take the lead in all of the ALDS? Royals take the lead. They are 1 game away from going to the World Series. They went 8-3. Indians. Royals Indians. Oh my gosh, that would be horrible. 6-3 win. Gigantes 3-2. And the Bravos 4-3. Okay. Okay, will we get anybody going to the World Series in this round? Oh, transactions. Nothing. Okay, back to playoffs. Here we go. Boom. Anybody moving on? Everybody's moving on. That's so dumb. Okay, so the Royals will move on to face the Indians. So they're playing their team within their own division. That's the ALDS. Oh, I think these are wild cards series. I'm sorry, I think I misspoke earlier. I'm sure you probably caught that. And the Giants win 7-1 over the Dodgers. Dodgers just lay down. And the Braves did it in extra innings, 4-3. That's a very low-scoring series. The Astros kind of hung in there, really. Okay, transactions. Oh, here's the other things, like a retirement. Don Paul had an appalling year. 38 games, 5.01 ERA. See ya. Tom Pagnozzi, also known as the Nozzle. He's retiring from St. Louis. I believe he actually got cut during the season, and he was a free agent, as you can see. And then we have playoff division MVP Mike Warner, center fielder for the Braves, wins the division series MVP. Mike Sweeney, it makes sense. He might be the MVP of the American League. Biggio, who's on Cleveland. I forgot about that. He got traded over there this season. And Joe Roa. I guess there was no other options. Okay. Cool. All right, back to the playoffs. I think we're going to have a day off before the next round. Okay, we'll take a look at transactions. Rolando Araujo retires. Okay. Oh, that's crazy. Because in real life, he was the opening day starter in real life for the expansion Devil Rays, I believe. That's weird. Okay, well, that's why it's baseball mobile. Okay, now we're getting to the nitty gritty here. Let's go. Let's see if we've got ourselves a home lead or an away lead. As the game is saving, which is fine. It's just annoying. There we go. Okay. Anything? Oh, was there another day off? Okay, well, building the drama, nothing else. Okay. All right. Play today. Simulating. There we go. Whoa, the Indians beat the Royals 5-4 in Kansas City, and the Giants beat the Braves in Kansas City. So I think we're seeing the better teams come alive here. It's exciting. Take a look at transactions. Nothing? Okay, back to the playoffs. Game 2. Here we go. And Indians and the Giants both take a 2-game lead as they go home to maybe close the series out. 12-1 over the Braves. Who's in the Braves rotation? I kind of want to know, but we're on the time crunch here. Let's take a look at transactions. Nothing. Okay, great. So there should be a day off now. All right, transactions. We have 2 more retirements. Bob Scanlon. Yeah, if you've pitched for the Tigers recently, you probably should be retiring. And Rafael Belliard. Really good defensive player. He's retiring. Okay. Playoffs. Here we go. Let's get ourselves to the World Series, see what happens next. And, wow, it was just a sweep. It wasn't even close. Giants win 3-0. And the Indians put away the Royals 3-0. I forgot who won that division. Was it the Royals or the Indians? I think it was the Royals. Was it? They tied. I mean, it could be either one. Doesn't matter. Okay. Playoffs. Transactions. Wayne Kirby is retiring. Okay, and then the ALCS MVP was Kenny Lofton. This is all of the playoff stats here. He was 3 for 3 in stolen bases in the ALCS. Pretty good. Pretty cool. All right, and then we have Barry Bonds. Hey, how will Barry Bonds do in the World Series? That's exciting to find out. Barry Bonds did hit 2 home runs. You can see how he did otherwise in his career before our sim. He just was never good in the playoffs, you know. He did walk 6 times, too. Jeez. All right. Back to the playoffs. Okay, now we're going to play the World Series. This will bring the season to a close, one day at a time. There we go. One day. Transactions. We have Bob Malacki retiring. Made 12 starts. Oh, my God. 106 hits in 56 innings. That's cruel. So Houston gets eliminated, and he decides they better retire. Chad Kruger does as well. He stuck around for a while, though, in real life. I think he played until he was 40 as a backup catcher. Okay. Playoffs. Play a game. Play a day. Is there another day rest? It appears there is. Transaction. Okay, we've got Rico Rossi retiring. Got into 2 games, 6 at-bats, had a walk. He's done. And Gary Gaetti at age 40 retires. He did not play at all in 1998 in the sim. In real life, he was on, is that the Cardinals, I believe? I actually don't know if he actually played in real life in 98. And normally we would check, but we are on a mission. Here we go. This is going to start the World Series. This is best of 7, I believe. Play one day. Oh, you son of a bitch. Always saving on me. Building the drama. I would say the Giants have got to win, right? They are the better team. Maybe we should have done a roster preview for this. If we had more time. I mean, we had nothing but time. Oh, another day off? Oh, all right. Transaction. All right, Steve Fry of Boston retiring. Okay. Tony Phillips retiring. He did get into 71 games as a Met in our sim. Guy that would take a lot of walks, but not at that point of his career. Okay, come on. Let's get serious. And the Giants will take the lead. Yeah, this is a 7-game series. 9-1. The bats are opening up for the Giants. They won 12-1, 9-4, and then 9-1. Transactions. Kevin Mitchell retiring. What? For Oaktown. That seems right. If you got one of these cards as your current card, that means you probably weren't really sticking around. Okay. Giants up 1-0. Is that on the road? Where are they at? So, no, they're in Cleveland. Cleveland has the advantage. Why exactly? The Giants won 102 games, and they're... Did they do it by National League, American League, National League, American League? I think that's what it was back then, right? Game number 2. It's thinking about it still. And the series is tied as the Indians win 6-1. I don't even know who their pitchers are. Let's take a look at transactions. Series is tied at 1-0. Okay. Series tied at 1. There was no transactions. Now they go on the road, so there should be a day off. Check the transactions. Oh, Joe Carter is retiring. He got into 3 games for Baltimore, and he did actually have a Baltimore card that year. Okay, playoffs. Here we go, game 3. And the Giants win 4-2. Excellent. Transactions, nothing. Okay. Game 4. Giants could take a commanding lead if they win today. They are at home, and they do take the lead 3-1. They win 8-2. And they can wrap it up at home. You know they're going to want to do that. They don't want to go back to Clevetown. Lou Frazier of the White Sox retiring. He has not played since 96. He actually did have a card in 98, though. Okay, this could be it right here. I mean, I think the Giants are the deserving team. Let's get the result. And the Giants win the World Series 4-1. They win the game 4-1, and they win the series 4-1. Very exciting. Congrats to the Giants. Headline news. We will... these are all the headlines. Bloop, 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 bloop. And there it is. San Francisco Giants take the 1998 crown in 5. Joe Roa, he might have been a big part of that team. Let's take a look at the transactions. There's everybody who won a ring. Also, Mike Maddox, Greg Maddox's brother, retires. Take a look at that. He actually had a good year. And then these are all the players on the roster that got rings. Matt Stairs was a player they traded for. For Darren Blood, I mean, that guy always killed us, man. And I think the Trevor Hoffman trade was a big deal. And you see everybody else there. Very cool. Okay, now we move on to the final thing, play until the free agent period. So we're going to hit this button. It's going to move us to the start of free agency, and then it's going to ask us to make decisions on our players. And I'm not mentally prepared to do that, but we're going to try it anyway. Here we go! So players are being released on other teams, they're being re-signed. All that information is going to pop up in front of us. But most importantly, we're going to deal with our own. And then when we come back in the spring, we will see what happened in the offseason. I'll have played the entire offseason and done all of the signings for our team, and you'll see everything ready for spring training. That will be the next step. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on here. More retirements, a lot of re-signings, it looks like, in alphabetical order based on the team. Well, that's not helpful. Wait, why are we not doing our players? What about Bobby and all that? Wait a minute, what's going on? Bobby was a free agent. No, now he's arbitration eligible next year. That wasn't right. What? Wait, what about Mike Hampton? What? Was that what he was making? What happened here? Oh, so this game is so broken. So he was arbitration eligible at the end of the 98 season, and yet they didn't send him to arbitration, and they just kept the same contract. I'll have to investigate on my own. So there's nothing we need to do. We are ready for the off season. All right. Well, that's good. Gosh, that was anticlimactic. But okay, I'm all right with that. So, yeah, okay, all right. So there you have it, folks. That's going to wrap up the 1998 Arizona Diamondbacks revisionist history. A real garbage season. I think I said this in the game 162. Of all the seasons that we have played, all the Detroit Tigers, the 6 seasons we played of the Tigers, the 3 of the Pilots, the year that we played of the Detroit Lions, and now this season, this is my least favorite one. I'm just so unsatisfied with the gameplay of 2022 Baseball Mogul. I can't wait to get started with the Seattle Pilots sim season. We'll be using Baseball Mogul 2025. We will also move the Diamondbacks to the 2025 game. I'm just really hoping that everything transfers properly and I don't have to do a lot of extra work. I'm going to just declare right now that we will start the Seattle Pilots season in a week if there's no major malfunctions to the 2025 Baseball Mogul. That'll give me time to look it over. I have not done anything but put it onto this computer. So I really don't know what else to say other than that. Other than I'm so grateful this season's over with. And I'm also equally grateful that for all of you that spend every moment, watched every game, and took us here all the way to the final video of the season. So that will do it. Thank you so much, everybody. Like and or subscribe to the channel. We'll have more free giveaways coming up every 40 games in the Seattle Pilots season. It's something to look forward to. We will see you then.